discussing the situation in our campuses, or in some of our campuses at the moment. But the first thing that we have agreed upon is that we would wish that all conflicts and disagreements at universities should be resolved through dialogue and peacefully, without the need for the involvement of private security or the police. That is our first prize. And that as a Department of Higher Education, we have created an environment and an institutional framework that seeks to promote dialogue, which is what we are calling for now in those institutions where there are matters that have got to be dealt with. But at the same time, we are concerned about some of the destruction that is taking place in some of our institutions. For example, in the Mahikeng campus of Northwest University, the entire admin building has been burnt down, the administration building, jeopardizing education for 10,000 of our young people who are studying there, and a science laboratory. We are of the view that the mainstream of university students, lecturers, workers are interested in continuing with the academic program. But clearly there is a fringe group which wants to impose its views through violence. And we have a duty to ensure that as government, life and limb and property is protected. Though, as we say, involvement of security forces is not our first choice or the best way we would like to advocate to deal with things, but we have a duty to protect this. Now, we came to this library in order also just to share with the South African population why it is dangerous to destroy property in some of our institutions. We saw just a few of the things that are housed here. And one of those are the original court records of the Rivonia trial, including even the draft by President Nelson Mandela when he was preparing his famous speech in Rivonia. That's what we saw today. We're very honored and privileged. I didn't know that Wits University is keeping such an important record. But all our universities have got records that are of historical significance that we need to protect. They are also important in terms of telling our own history. And by the way, the Rivonia trial original records, they are the only original records, though they are digitized, and it's very important that we do that. Therefore, on my side, I also would like to use this opportunity to call all our university stakeholders to focus on the academic program. Government has listened. We have released billions of rands for this year, and as the Minister of Finance has said, for the next coming years, to deal with access to higher education by poor students. And also the President's Commission is starting its work that is going to look at a final solution to the issue of free higher education for poor students. And we are saying let's give those processes a space and let everybody go back to class. There is no contradiction being in class and still committed to the struggle to transform our universities. We have to do both those things at the same time. We can't sacrifice one and say because we want this. And by the way, we have to remind ourselves historically that after 1976, there were amongst some of the students who were saying, let's shut down our institutions until we get our freedom, liberation before education. But they quickly became isolated and a minority. And we used to even toy later, we can study and struggle at the same time. We can study and struggle at the same time. That is what we are calling for. So that is why we are here. Minister, I don't know whether you want to say something.
No, I'm fine actually. I think the points that have been emphasized upon by the Minister of Higher Education are quite important. And I think we should not be understood as saying that we are looking down upon the validity and legitimacy of some of the grievances, for example, by students. They're still legitimate and valid and whatever and so on, but that does not equal necessarily chaos, violence, and any other form of destruction. I think that's the point that we're making, and that it is indeed possible to continue to constructively engage to find peaceful sort of resolutions to the matters at hand affecting students in particular. The one last point on our side is that as security agencies, we will basically conduct a review and take stock of what the situation in overall has been and what currently obtains, and how we therefore need to also find a way of dealing with issues of enforcing the law and, of course, the recultivation of the concept of the rule of law within our campuses and so on. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. As we indicated earlier, we will then allow, if there are any few questions with respect to what the